Hey, I'm Chris Troy, host of St. Clair County RISA's Moment in History. And I'm here in Port Huron's Pine Grove Park next to a monument that stands for the pride we Americans have for our country and reminds us of the sacrifices our forefathers made in World War II. Today we visit the stopping point of the American Freedom Train. Now in April 1946, William Koblenz, who at the time was an assistant director of the Public Information Division of the Department of Justice, was spending his lunch hour strolling through the National Archives. There he came across an exhibit that contained documents that were surrendered by the German army and Adolf Hitler's last will and testament. Koblenz couldn't believe the contrast because less than 15 feet away from the German exhibit were located documents that were in sheer contrast. Documents that told the story of Americans' heritage. Lamenting over the fact that only so many Americans travel to the National Archives, he came up with a plan to create a traveling exhibition. William took his idea to the United States archivist Solon Buck, who immediately loved the idea and passed it on to Attorney General Tom Clark, who in turn also loved and wanted to support the idea. The problem was that first Clark had to meet with President Harry Truman to get his blessing. Now, World War II had just ended August 1945, and since many Americans had already put the war behind them and tried to move on, Clark was afraid that Truman would see such an exhibit as a war remembrance instead of the tool to spur on patriotism. Clark was wrong, and Truman loved the idea. Koblenz and his staff of the National Archives were given the task to arrange the exhibit that would fill 3 train cars. The Freedom Train would exhibit documents such as a letter from Christopher Columbus on his discovery of America, Thomas Paine's Common Sense of 1776, the United States Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and a letter from George Washington to Gouverneur Morris describing conditions at the winter headquarters in 1780. General Eisenhower's personal flag and the flag flown at the USS Missouri when the Japanese surrendered were also part of the exhibit. Over 100 artifacts and documents would be displayed in the exhibit once underway. The only problem was that while everyone was excited about the project, no one seemed to know where the funding would come from. Attorney General Clark had an idea and turned to his friend Barney Babon, who served as the president of Paramount Pictures. Babon convinced other studio heads and friends to help with the project. Spiro Sakura, president of 20th Century Fox, composer Irving Berlin, and CBS president Frank Stanton were all on board. Thomas Brophy, who had been working on a similar project for the Ad Council, asked if he could help and be part of this unique project. With these men's and others' efforts, financing fell into place. The plan seemed simple enough. The week before the train would arrive to each community, they would hold a rededication week, programs that would include community events that would provide dramatic reminders to the people of the liberties that they enjoy as Americans. An American locomotive company, PA Locomotive, was selected to serve as the Freedom Train. Named the Spirit of 1776, the Freedom Train was powered by diesel, making it unique to be seen in the age of steam. Many train enthusiasts feel that the Freedom Train's engine holds the record for the most kissed locomotive of all times. In the first few weeks in September 1947, the Freedom Train, as it was now known, had begun to receive her cargo in Cameron, Virginia. 27 state Marines, under the commandment of Lieutenant Colonel Robert F. Scott, served as security during this process. On the 160th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution, the Freedom Train rolled into Philadelphia to begin the tour, being serenaded by Irving Berlin's song, The Freedom Train, being sung by Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters. From September 17, 1947 through January 22, 1949, the Freedom Train made 334 stops nationwide, including here in Port Huron on August 27, 1948. Over 3.5 million visitors visited the train, signing a pledge scroll promising to be great Americans. In celebration of the bicentennial, another version of the Freedom Train took the rail from April 1st, 1975 till December 31st, 1976. This train was twice as long as the original, carrying with it American artifacts such as Judy Garland's dress from The Wizard of Oz, Joe Frazier's boxing trunks, Martin Luther King's pulpit and robes, and even a rock from the moon. For Moment in History Extra, hey, I'm Chris Troy, reminding you that history, that lives in all of us.